Hello everyone, SC Knife Guy here, and today we got the Spyderco Tenacious. Ooh, my first Spyderco! And man, oh man, I've been wanting one of these for a while. I wasn't too sure if I was going to go with the Spyderco's Bird line, which is a heck of a lot cheaper. It's about $30 on Amazon for their Meadowlark, or there's a couple other various models of the Bird line there that Spyderco's got. But I decided to go with this bad boy. And the Tenacious Sheet B. This one I picked up for a pretty good price, and I'll get into that a little later here. But man, what a sweet knife. And getting into the dimensions, we have the actual length of this bad boy is about 7 3/4 inches, and the handle is going to be about 4.5, just a little bit over inches, and then the blade size is 3.5 inches around there. And just for a little bit of a size comparison, we got the M16 OK1S, just a tiny guy there, and then we'll pair it up beside the Manly Peak, fairly big knife, and then the CRKT Amicus. So she is a fairly big blade. This guy is part of Spyderco's value folders, and it actually does come at quite a bit of value. Going into the steel type, we have an 8CR 13 MOV. This steel is, well, came sharp, nice and sharp. She's not going to hold a very good edge on it, but she's going to be able to sharpen up real quick. So if you got a nice field sharpener with you, you slide it through the field sharpener, she's going to retain that edge afterwards. Not too bad. She has a full flat grind, so really good for slicing. Nice piercing little point here, which is great, and it has a satin finish to it. Also has a little nice Spyderco logo on here. Your 8CR 13 MOV being a budget steel, it is affordable. It's nice, and it seems to do the job very nicely. Are you going to use this for like tasks as far as bushcrafting? Probably not. I would probably go with an S30V. Or you know, a steel around that range for bushcrafting. But for opening boxes, any of your daily stuff with this knife here, you're gonna get it done no problem. Your full flat grind is gonna offer some nice slicing capabilities. I mean, if you did want to use this kind of as a camp knife, cutting cheese, or you know, anything as far as kitchen tasks go, you're going to slice through anything, you know, carrots, if you wanted to cut up potatoes, this knife has got it. And what kind of a lockup do we have here? Well, we got the good old liner lock. And she actually, coming out of the box, there's no play side to side, up and down. She's a really stiff liner lock. And it covers about, if you can see there, about 50+% of that actual steel there, so she's fairly solid. And as far as corrosion resistance, you are not going to have this thing rust up on you if you leave it in the sink for an hour, but it doesn't have the best of corrosion resistance, so you definitely wouldn't want to really, you know, gut an animal with it, or you know, take it out into the bush and get it wet and leave it in your pocket and leave it for a full day, because you might notice that there's going to be some rust on there for you. So she cleaned up nice. She'll kind of keep away from that rust. And moving on to the handle of this thing here, it's got a nice G10 handle, very nice and grippy. It's got a full stainless steel liner here, and I don't know if you guys can see in there, you might be able to, but it is milled out, so that's going to reduce weight quite a bit. And actually in the pocket, this thing feels pretty decent. But it's got some nice recessed screws here, so it's not gonna, they're not gonna catch. And also you're gonna have some nice jimping here on the blade, and that's super nice if you want to choke up a bit and get a little bit more power into your cut. And on the back of the blade, you have this nice little cylinder here in between these holes here, and it's actually for your lanyard. So it's a nice little lanyard loop, and they added that cylinder there so you can actually get your lanyard in there without it catching within side here. And that brings us back here to your pocket clip. It's a nice sturdy pocket clip, and you can see here it's got the Spyderco symbol on it as well. And it's not a deep carry, so that's kind of frowned upon in my knife collection, but I still do love this pocket clip. It's nice and firm. It's it makes it so this isn't gonna fall out of your pocket. It's gonna grab really nicely. And it's a 4-position pocket clip. Tip down, tip up, left or right. So that's super nice. And it even fits nicely in a pair of pajama pants. Just like that. And as you can see in my last little pajama pants segment there, you could hear a little bit of a squeak coming from the blade, and that brings us to the action. It came super rough, I found anyway. It was kind of tough, and it still is a little bit tough, and you can hear the actual liner lock kind of scraping along the edge of the blade there. A little bit of an annoying sound, especially if you want to play with your blade quite a bit. But it does run on, if you guys can see in there, bronze bushings. If you can see that copper in there, kind of look. But it is running on bushings. But I just found it was a little too stiff for my liking. But with a lot of play and well, merciless play, I'm all constantly opening this thing. It seemed to kind of loosen up a little bit, and I'm able actually to flick it up with the thumb there. No problem now. But when you first get it, not the best action. So now we're coming down to that question. How does this thing feel in my hand? Well, open her up, grab the actual knife, grip it nicely. Feels actually really good. It's got a nice finger choil here that's deep enough that when you're grabbing onto it, and let's say you're gonna do like a stabbing or puncturing like into wood or something like that, it feels tight in the hand. It's not going to slip. The jimping up here is really nice if you want to choke up and get a little bit more of a power slice. And the G10 scaling is actually pretty darn grippy. And everything else, there's no rough edges on this knife, and that's kind of coming to the fit and finish. How is this thing's fit and finish? What did it look like when it came out of the box? Well, she's nice, other than the squealing, but she was nice. Really nice. It's got no, like I said, rounded, super sharp edges. It's a beautiful knife. Came with that nice logo there. And I'd say the fit and finish was awesome, right out of the box. And now we're going to move on to the LAFE. That is my personal grade of the knife. And like I said in a few of my other videos, just my personal opinion and my grade I'm going to be putting on this knife, and everybody is definitely rightful to their opinion. So yeah, I'll give this bad boy's look and finish a 7, a nice high 7. It's a Chinese made knife. It came in the box not bad. As you can see, it is pretty straight. Definitely wouldn't give it a 9, but a 7 definitely suits it. The action, well, what would I grade the action? What would I grade that action? Well, it's got a bit of that annoying squeal to it, like I had said there, which I'm not too big of a fan of. That could probably go away with some oiling, but doesn't get rid of the fact that she's a little rough when you flick her open. So I'm going to give that action a 5. Not bad. Still middle range action, but not great. The actual feel in hand, it feels pretty good. It's not bad at all. So I'm going to give this guy a 6. 6 for feel in hand. She's not the best feel in a knife that I've ever held. One of my favorite knives that I've ever held has got to be the Victorinox Hunter Pro. It's got the bulkiness, it's got the finger choils there. It just feels like it was meant to be in your knife, or in your hand, sorry, your knife. And leaves us with the last one, EDC capability. Would I take this thing around with me on a nice long walk? Yeah, sure, for sure. It's not bad. It's fairly light because I mentioned, it has the milling in the actual steel liner there. Show you guys again, but she is fairly light. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is the actual width of it. It's pretty bulky in the pocket, so I'm a type of guy, I like a kind of a skinnier knife, more like along the lines of a gentleman's knife, because I put my knife in my left hand pocket with my phone, so the phone's nice and shielded from the actual knife because it's a little small. This one is just, it's a little too wide and it rubs against the phone. You know, you could be different too and have your phone in a different pocket, but that's just the way I set it up, and the width kind of gets to me. So all in all, what do I think of it? I like it. For something as you know, cheap as this was, and the actual price on this knife was $60. I purchased it on Amazon, so it could vary, but for me in Canadian dollars it was $60. And if you look around, you can get the Paramilitary 2, which has you know, nicer steel all in all, but that's going to cost Canadian. I wasn't able to find it for any cheaper than $220. So when you're looking at something affordable, this line of knives, super great. They also, there's the Resilience, which is a huge version of this. I don't have one, but it's big. And then you have this, the Tenacious, and then you have the Persistence, which is just a little smaller than this guy, and then you have the Ambitious, which is going to be a little smaller than the next. So they're all, you know, a little pricier, a little cheaper than the rest, but they're super great, nice budget knives. But all in all, I like this guy. I think it's going to get me started on a little bit of a Spyderco craze. And would I recommend it? Of course. For the price, you can't go wrong with this guy. The steel, she's not bad. She's not great, but she's not bad. And she'll get you started in Spyderco, that's for sure. And of course, thank you guys very much for watching my video. If you liked this video and found it handy, like and subscribe. And don't forget to leave a comment below. Have a great day, guys.